Today, we're going to look at career selection and financial identity, and you're going to choose a career path and explain how it impacts income, time in school, and student loan debt. Um, so, without further ado, let's get started. Um, so, if income determines lifestyle, meaning like how much or how little you make determines like the type of lifestyle you have, um, what determines your income? What affects how much someone earns? Like, would it be, can education do that, or skill, demand, experience, location, things like that? For sure. So, um, and then also some things, just like how responsible you are. Like, if we go back up here, like, what determines income? Like, you can have a great job. You put in your dues. Maybe you have a pretty good education and you get a high paying job, but you've also have to be able to meet the needs of the business, like perform with whatever their expectations are. Uh, some companies are super strict with dress code. You need to make sure you abide by company rules and policies, being on time, things like that. Otherwise, those good jobs that you might have, you might lose to somebody else that can get to work on time and things like that. Um, so on your job sheet, you're going to choose one of these jobs, and I'm going to give you another sheet to kind of fill out. But we're going to use my example first because I have an example showing you how to kind of fill this stuff out. Um, but I'll show you where that is here in just a moment. We have entry level jobs, trade and skilled careers, bachelor degree careers, and advanced degrees. So, um, one path may or may not be better than another. There's going to be trade offs with everything. So, it just really kind of depends. So, what I want y'all to do is if there's not something on this list that you see yourself doing, and this is basically saying, like, right now, if you had to choose, like, what you would want to do, if you're not going to college, or you're not doing like a trade school, you need to pick something from this list. Um, and if there's nothing on this list in college or trades or whatever, pick something closest to what you may want to do. Because I mean, I can't list every single degree on here, but let me show you where that list is first of all. So if you go to Canvas right here on job sheet, this will pull up and you'll have entry level, no college required. You can go through it, has a career number, what the actual job is, um, what industry it's in, the education required, when you can do this, how many years after high school, basically meaning do you have a degree or not, and what the starting salary would be. Estimated student loans. Well, if this doesn't take college, I don't have any student loans, so my estimated monthly loan payment zero. Okay, you can go down here to more advanced degrees. 18, finance, you have a bachelor's degree, you got $35,000 in student loans, your maximum monthly loan payment is $390. Your starting salary is $58,000. Okay, so you're going to be going through and you're going to select one of those. Higher income, is it free? What does 4 years of school cost? And 6 years of school. Pretty expensive. I graduated college 10 years ago, and I still have quite a bit of loans left. Um, so, career choice. Choice that you need to consider too is not just with income, but also time. Uh, like I know some people, want to be doctors, and that's great. Uh, Doctors are on call a lot, even when they're not like actually at the office or seeing patients. Um, you know, it's like how important is time and family? Um, like being a coach too, that pulls you away. So it's like I decided not to be a coach until later in life when my kids were a little bit older, and my kid, like one of my kids, at least go here so I can see them, because you're taken away. So it's like career choice impacts time is a big one, especially for me, almost more so than income. Um, Student loan debt. Is it worth going to school for a long time to have all this debt? Um, I mean, yeah, you may make more, uh, but a lot of times, jobs like that they may require more time. You may have more income, you may have more time, but also you can have perks where you have less time, or maybe you work from home or something like that. So it really just kind of varies. That's what you guys are going to be finding out. Student loan debt. Let's see. Uh, and also, when you think about what the cost is of school, gosh, I think whenever I was at North Texas at that time, I think a semester was about 5 grand, 4 to 5 grand, um, and uh, and that was just like in state at a relatively close school, so not a private school. Some schools can be like 25, 30,000 a semester, and then if you go during summer school, I mean you're like that just adds up a lot. Adds up real quick. So the whole idea is to kind of get you thinking about what you want to do, but also look at the like um, the potential, good and or bad, of some of those things. So student loan reality. This was kind of even though I'm a teacher and like some of this stuff was well, I'll admit I was kind of incompetent at the time. I looked at it as kind of like money. I even spent extra loan money on stuff that I didn't need, which I'm paying back now at a much higher interest rate, might I add. Um, so I was not the best example, and I'm telling you guys that just to know that I'm not perfect. A lot of your teachers aren't perfect either. So it's like nobody's perfect. We all make decisions, and everybody's responds differently. But the purpose is we should be aware of these things and learn from mistakes that people say, "Don't do like me. Do better." Um, so let's suppose you borrow $40,000. Um, Student loan equals borrowed money for $40,000. So you borrow $40,000. Is that paid all at once, or is it paid monthly? Um, that is paid monthly, by the way. So that $40,000 will be that's how much you owe in loans, and then you'll be put on a payment plan. Sometimes those can extend for like 20 or 30 years, and you feel like you're paying that the rest of your life. Um, but this can affect your budget, right? If this is paid monthly, then that's going to affect your budget, which we just looked at budgeting yesterday monthly. Let's see. So your monthly payment will depend on some things like how much you actually borrowed, and then what your actual interest rate is. So if you went to school for 6 years and have your master's or something like that, you've more than likely borrowed more than me. Now, some ways to go around this, if you want to take the time, which honestly, if I can go back and redo it, I definitely would. Um, but there are tons of scholarships for lots of different things. Like, um, you just have to go out there and find them. Ask the counselors, and like I know my stepsister, she graduated uh, college debt free. She didn't have any student loans because she got every scholarship that was available for her. She was a single mother, like at 16. There's a scholarship for that. She was adopted. There was a scholarship for that. Um, Not 16. No, it wasn't 16. She might have been 18. Yeah. Either way, maybe a single mother, and also she was adopted. There was a scholarship for that. Um, So, anyways, that's something to consider as well when you look at going to college, like trying to get as many scholarships as possible, even though that probably don't feel like writing a whole bunch of essays. They might not all require essays, but it just might require a little bit of investigating. And while at the time you may not seem like the most fun thing to do, it's definitely the smartest thing to do for your future, for sure, financially. Okay, so today you are going to choose a career, and I do not want you just picking something with the highest salary. You're picking a realistic path. You're going to reflect on this choice. So I'm going to ask you questions based off of this career. Um, so you're going to see your starting salary, see the education required behind it, see estimated loan payments. So I want these to be as realistic as possible. Before selecting a career, consider what skills do you currently have, what interests you, and then how many years of school am I willing to complete? You guys are pretty much have just had 12 years of school. I know, um, me personally, I did not, I did not, I went to school and then dropped out pretty quick. I went for like one semester and then I went back later. But going to school 12 years in a row, I was tired of it, just to be honest. So, but I went to school later and I would think I was a little more mature at that time and finished and found out kind of more or less what I wanted to do. Um, am I comfortable taking on student debt? So these are things to consider before choosing a career. So I'm not going to be grading you on how much money you have left. By the way, you can see kind of the rubric on the page that you get. Um, but you must answer why you chose this career. What does a typical day look like? What education is required? Is the student debt worth the salary? And would you actually enjoy this job? So once you choose your career, that will be your career you have for the remainder of the semester. So we're going to come back to that same career. So the career selection begins. Oops. So going back to this real quick, you're going to briefly research your job that you have and figure out some information on that to fill this out. All right. So now I'm going to have you guys select a career, and then I'll pass out these things for y'all to start filling out, and then I'll do an example with y'all next time that is kind of like my made up career as well. So you'll do your project kind of piece on this other form that I hand you, and then yeah, we'll go from there.